often I have someone from the other side pay me a visit that is a parent who has left a young child or a teenage child here and ask me to speak to the pain that they've caused, either intentionally or unintentionally, by leaving early. And the other subject is the child who has committed suicide. And in my experience, most of the children who've committed suicide do it somewhere between the ages of 20 and 30, at least the ones that are visiting me. And although I must admit recently I had a visit from a 12-year-old who had committed suicide. A lot of people would ask, why, given all the joy I've talked about, given the humor that they interject, why I would be the messenger between something that would at first glance seem so painful for both sides, for the parent or the child who has died, and for those who are here still on earth. And the first time that I had someone show up and talk to me and ask me to speak to his children, I was resistant. The young man that I was asked to talk to was a friend of my son's, and I was concerned that it might be invasive or really none of my business. And so what I did is I said to this individual, I am willing to speak to your child, your children. He had 2 sons, but I need you to find a way to bring them to me. I need you as validation. Yes, you standing here talking to me is validation, but I need a second source of validation. And that second source is you bring them to me. I'm not going to go hunting them out. You bring them to me. So when I talk about guidelines and boundaries with those on the other side, one of those guidelines and boundaries is you bring them to me. And I have to laugh at how they get brought to me. But I'll talk about that somewhere else. I want to talk about the fact that I've let those who really desire and have something to say to their sons or daughters or wives or husbands that they've left behind, that it wasn't their fault. That it wasn't their fault. That when people choose to leave the planet, it has nothing to do with the people left behind. And that, and this this is the big one that always hits home to me, is that there was nothing, absolutely nothing, the family member could have done. I am smiling and also sensing the emotion of what feels like an army of, for lack of a better term, angels on the other side who have left loved ones here. And are grateful for the opportunity to speak to someone they love and say, it wasn't your fault. There was nothing you could have done. No matter what the situation looks like, it wasn't your fault. There is nothing you could have done. And the second message that always is partnered with that is, I'm still here. I'm still here. And the challenge for me is that I know that spirit body, that dead person, that loved one on the other side, whatever label you want to give them, I know they're still here. In my own personal experience, I know they're still here. I know they're willing to help. I know they're offering continued support. And I also understand the doubt of the person or persons that I'm relaying the message to. And so what happens is I find myself with an understanding of both perspectives, the perspective of the individual who has died and the perspective of the individual who's still here on earth.